This comes to us from Video Games Chronicle. Supermassive has delayed Directive 8020 amid a round of layoffs. This decision was not taken lightly, and we know this will be an incredibly difficult time for everyone, which tell me if you've heard that one before. Dark Picture Studio Supermassive has announced a round of layoffs and delayed its sci-fi horror game Directive 8020 into 2026. In a statement published on its social media channels, the studio said it had begun the redundancy process for around 36 employees. So redundancy is another fancy word of saying layoffs. And this comes to us from their official LinkedIn, a statement from Supermassive Games. And they said, the games industry remains a challenging and ever-evolving environment. As we adapt our team structure to better align with these changes, we've had to make the very difficult decision to begin a redundancy consultation. They're bringing in the Bobs. Time to bring in the Bobs process where we anticipate losing up to 36 of our colleagues. This decision was not taken lightly. Well, who cares? They're still being let go. We thought really hard about it, and we're firing you. And we know this will be an incredibly difficult time for everyone. Our absolute priority will be to offer full support to all those affected, which is nice. It's nice. We remain focused on our upcoming projects and have made the decision to move the launch of Directive 8020 to the first half of 2026. The response to the game so far has been fantastic, and this additional time will help us deliver the very best experience for our fans. Well, before I even keep going, this is really confusing because if we are to believe them that the reception and response from people has been great, fantastic, as they put it, wouldn't that motivate them to hire more people and get the game out on time, in time for Halloween, in time for horror month, in time for people to get their hands on it as soon as possible? Wouldn't you think that would make more sense if they truly believed they had something special here? Instead, they're laying people off and delaying it to the first half of 2026, which is so ambiguous that it basically means anytime in 2026, because you can get towards July and they could be like, oh yeah, we need a couple more months anyway. So it means it's delayed till 2026 at this point, at some point, theoretically, if it even comes out at all. And I know that sounds crazy to say, but with games like Perfect Dark getting canceled after 7 years of development, you never know. A lot of the other stuff that I think about with this too is there's layoffs going on throughout the entire video game industry daily, almost, it seems, sometimes multiple times a day. And with Microsoft laying off so many people recently, I believe they're up to almost, 20,000 people in 2025 so far, or the last 12 months. I can't remember exactly because there's been so many. And many of them being replaced by artificial intelligence. And then other companies saying, no, we're definitely not going to let people go because of our artificial intelligence. But you see these companies making cutbacks over and over again, yet the games are still on track to be coming out. And I can't help but think that they're letting people go and replacing more people with artificial intelligence. It's not crazy to think that that's what's happening here. They said, we're deeply grateful for the patience and support from our community. There is no impact on the development of Little Nightmares 3, which I wouldn't imagine there would be, because that's kind of their pride and joy at that company. And that's their golden goose of a game that typically has expectations and a brand behind it that people are familiar with at this point and has a base that will definitely be buying it. The decision was not taken lightly, and we know this will be incredibly difficult. Our priority will be to offer full support, and this goes into everything I just said. The Directive 8020 was originally due to release in October for PC via Steam, PlayStation 5, and Xbox Series X/S. The British developer, based in Guildford, Surrey, is best known for its PlayStation horror hit Until Dawn. I guess. I guess. I was gonna say Little Nightmares is up there, but yeah. The game, which was adapted for the silver screen earlier this year, was popular with both hardcore players and fostered a new, more casual audience. For its next game, Directive 8020, action takes a much greater focus, reads a recent VGC preview. So, how has the studio balanced the more advanced action gameplay while making sure its loyal casual audience can experience the new story? Oh, that's it. That's how they, I thought they'd have a summary and conclusion. Then it's like, oh, let's just read this. And that's it. But yeah, 8020 is being delayed, and Supermassive Games is spiraling and pretending like everything is fine. But going back over to LinkedIn, this guy said, I'm wondering what's actually happening, as games are still making huge profits. I'm thinking the money is going to alternative places, it seems, and not back into development. And it's now a trend across the industry. Yeah, because it's going to AI and replacing people at the company. I really would like to understand this and work out where I fit in this. I'm sure many of those would too. I feel sorry for all those affected. This is the other thing, working in the game industry. It's going through a period of extreme layoffs and very, very minimal open positions and hirings, where I would argue there are 10 to 20 heavily experienced, very well qualified, years and years of knowledge and talented developers that are just really good at what they do and love what they do. There's probably 10 to 20 of them for every one position that shows up. Potentially more, by the way. I'm just guessing, but I'm guessing on the low end, 10 to 20 people for one spot that opens up. It's not a great situation to be a developer working in the game industry and getting laid off right now, and knowing that your future prospects are very grim. And I go back to the same thing I went to with the whole Firewalk Studios shutting down and the professor getting laid off. And instead of starting her own indie studio, she went back on the job hunt and got hired, I believe at the same company Corinne Bush is at. The developers that are getting laid off, I understand that they need to make ends meet and pay their bills, pay their mortgages and the finances. I get all that. But I would argue this is an opportunity to, if you really are talented, to show it to people. There's never been a time in history like there is right now to start your own studio, to develop your own game, be an indie developer, utilize AI to help you write the code, get through stuff, create the music, and make a really good game on your own. Prove it to the world that you have the talent to do it. But I guess my greater point with all of it is the people that are getting laid off, they're not all wokies. Yes, many of them are, but not all of them are. And my heart does go out to the people that are busting their ass, passionate about what they do, love what they do, and they're getting completely bent over by the system and pushing them out of it. And it sucks. But it is part of the industry. It always has been. And when I worked at Sony, a shadow over my head every single day going in, wondering, will I have a job tomorrow? For years when I was at Sony. I was a contract employee, but the contract was you're a temp and we can let you go at any time. That was the contract. It wasn't necessarily very employee friendly for me, but I learned when I worked there that the game industry is probably the most unstable professional industry that you can work in the world. So these people that work at these companies, they know that going into it. And that's what you sign up for. And it's very challenging because not only is it really unstable, but it also doesn't pay very much. The pay is terrible relative to other industries. Like if you take your skills in development and go work for a bank, you're probably going to make double the money. And I'm not even exaggerating. It's not an industry that's built on a stable ground, and it sucks for the people that can't that can't make it work. But that is the game industry. I worked in it, guys. Personally, I know what a shitty industry it is. It's always been a shitty industry, and it will always be a shitty industry. And no amount of unionization and equal pay and guaranteed this or that will fix any of it. Because at the end of the day, it's the entertainment industry. And if you aren't winning the money from people's wallets, you will be out on the street. That's show business. That's like saying like a YouTuber that is not getting the views or attention, and they're like, oh, I can't pay my bills with this. It's like, well, yeah, I mean, you can keep trying, but make sure you get another job too while you're doing that, just to sustain yourself, because there's no guarantee that the money's always going to be there. Kills me. But anyways, I could go on forever about how shitty the game industry is when it comes to employment and lack of guarantees, but I'll leave that one there.